Hey guys, welcome to Photo Club. I thought we could do a quick one on editing. If you've got a phone, one of the best apps that I use is Lightroom. There's a free version. There are other apps which I'll probably do a video actually on different editing apps. But come with me onto Lightroom. So I've got with me the photos that I took from last time. The little R2D2 ones. There's this one, and then that one, and we're gonna have a little fun editing them. So along the bottom you can see it's got a load of different presets. So one of the things that when I took this photo, I wanted to change the crop. So we talked about how you can make it level. So I want to make sure that the line along the shed is in line with the grid that I've got, and there we go. I want to get rid of the grass a bit too much grass, and R2D2 isn't quite in the center of the frame. Then I'm going to adjust it a little bit, and now it's kind of drawing your eye towards R2, and I'm pretty happy with that. It's a shame I didn't check that R2D2 was actually level when I put him down. There we go. So that's the crop tool. It's very helpful, and again, leading off our last, and it helps to draw the eye to what we want to be the subject. So there's that one. I'm going to quickly crop this one just for exactly the same purposes. Make sure that that line on the shed lines up. It makes it, in fact actually I'm going to line it up with R2D2 and zoom in again, just so that R2 is center of the frame. Now along the bottom you can see that we've got light, so it then comes up with exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows. Now one of the easiest ways to actually play around and kind of work out how to edit photos is to just play around. Find what works well. So when I increase the exposure, it gets darker. When I decrease the exposure, it gets darker. When I increase the exposure, it gets lighter. And I want it a little bit brighter. Contrast, that increases the difference between the darkest dark and the lightest light. So if I increase it, it makes things darker, the dark's darker and the light's lighter, and vice versa. I like to have a little bit less contrast. Highlights, now as you can see, if I dip the highlights, so make them go down, you can see there's a little bit of the clouds kind of coming into, so a bit more dramatic. So I'm going to dip the highlights a little bit. Shadows, I quite like where they are. I don't want them too dark because they are meant to be shadows. And then light, again, wanting to kind of keep it so that they are white and the shed, so it's not too dark. Now there is another way that you can edit, and that's with curves, but I think that we'll sort that in another video. So then colour. Now there's so much we could do here. One of the things I like to play around with is the little mix tool. So this hue is the different colours. So looking on the picture, there's not masses of reds. So you can increase the saturation, hue and luminance, so how light and dark it is, of every single colour pretty much that's in the photo. So for instance, orange, that's probably going to be affecting the shed, and you can just about see it. It goes a lot more reddy and then a bit more yellowy. It looks a bit like 6, so I'm going to keep that one similar, but I think I want to make it a bit more colourful. So increase the saturation and maybe, again, playing around. See what you like, see what works. Same with the yellows. Now, do we want to go for like an autumnal green? I think I want to go a little bit more brown. Reduce the saturation so it's not so popping. What I love to do is I like to have blues as more tealy, so more of a teal blue. And then dip them, yeah. Again, this is editing to my style, so play around what works for you. and pinks, or magenta I think. Cool, so I'm happy with that colour mix. There's more that you can do with grading, so you can give a tint to the shadows, the mids and the highs. Again, that's another video we can go into the details of later. Then sliding along, effects. Now depending on if you've got the free version, some of these effects might not be available to you, but there are other apps that you can use to kind of work with those. The ones I've shown you are all available, I think, from the free version, so if they aren't, I am very sorry. So texture, this one sharpens up your image a little bit, so you can make it blurry. So if you want to have a soft focus for your 1950s photo shoot, you can. Clarity, this one increases and affects the contrast a little bit, so it can make a photo look quite more edgy and a bit more dramatic. Dehaze, so if you've got a really white out photo in mist and stuff, you can do this and it darkens the colours a little bit and just adds a little effect. Vignette, I like adding vignette because it again draws your eye into the subject. Your eye will often be drawn to the brightest part of the photo. So actually if you've got dark kind of corners of the image, it draws your eye in. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And a little bit of a cheat for this, if I want to add the same filter to lots of photos, you can make sure you're on the one that you want, then swipe along and then go along to previous and then add all, and that will edit it in the same presets and things that you've had in your other photo. So I'd love to see some of your photos of editing, of how you've edited your photos, how you've made them more dramatic. Have you added lots of different things? I'm really looking forward to seeing it. So that's all for folks, and we'll see you next time in Photo Club.